Hello and welcome, everybody. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We're not at Quaker Steak Lube today. The Ironhead out of commission, so I'm filling in for him, Chris Bucanani, the obligatory PSU pregame show. Grateful to you guys letting me zip in here remotely and accommodate my schedule. But I do have the Goon with me. What's up, Goonie?
Boosh, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been a heck of a week, but the good news is it's almost over, and we might actually have above freezing temperatures next week. So I'm going to take it.
No, it'll be cold again.
The cold is relative, man. It is a relative scale for sure. So I want to get right into it and just start out with the news of the day, which is not great if you are a Nittany Lions fan, but it is what it is. And I can kind of indirectly link it back to our Philadelphia Eagles. But Noah Polley, we hardly knew you. The Penn State wide receiver coach position continues to be cursed because no sooner had Matt Campbell brought his young phenom wide receivers coach Noah Polley with him from Ames than he is already departing Happy Valley to take the same job. Well, I guess this was really going to be more of a tight ends and passing game coordinator job with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. It sucks because, you wish you had him here and this and that, and it's been a position of that we've needed for so long here and have struggled with, but thought you had that going down. But I guess the Watson kid out in Green Bay, I guess he's an Iowa State kid, or this guy coached him maybe?
So they were together at South Dakota State.
Okay, there we go.
And, I know he was very highly thought of, had developed some pro caliber talent at multiple stops, but this is rough, man. We have not had stability at the wide receiver coach position at Penn State since Josh Gaddis left to go take the offensive coordinator job at Michigan. And we're talking, after the 2018 season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and what has that position produced, actually? We've had historically, yes, we've had position guys playing, but coaching wise, it's been a struggle finding somebody for the last 4 or 5 years, and our receivers have paid for it. I mean,
yeah,
just go back to the Notre Dame semifinal game. I mean, my God, 0 catches from wide receiving core, and that guy still had a job the next year.
Well, so it's that age-old question: do you value stability? Or if you don't get immediate results, do you look to make a change? So, yeah, if you look back on it now, so Penn State recruited and developed Jahan Dotson under James Franklin. He inherited Chris Godwin and Deshaun Hamilton. They both had really good careers. Parker Washington, who was a big-time get for Penn State because he was a Texas kid who had a lot of big-time offers and came up and performed really well for Penn State, and I think probably could have stuck around for another year in terms of his overall draft position. Definitely would have helped Penn State a lot. I don't think we would have gone 0 for however many attempts in that Orange Bowl throwing to wide receivers if Parker Washington was out there. But, he's one of those guys, kind of like, Kevin Givens comes to mind, too, on the defensive side of the ball, who maybe left a year earlier than he should have, but nevertheless has carved out a really good NFL career. Parker, till you got to the end of this season, was playing like one of the top receivers in the AFC. And so other than those two guys, like you said, you've seen just a revolving door. A lot of misses on the recruiting trail. A lot of guys come in, not a lot of production. After Parker Washington, probably the highest ranked receiver I think Penn State recruited was Lonnie White, and that dude never played a snap of football, and he's still kicking around the minor leagues somewhere.
You know what, Booch? I've been thinking about this being Super Bowl week and all that stuff, and you bring it up because you bring up Washington and guys like who transfer in, transfer out, play here a year 3, whatever. Like, we go to the Super Bowl thing and say, oh, well, Penn State has a representative of 57 of the 60 Super Bowls. Now you're going to get to the point where it's going to be like every team's going to have representatives because of the 53 guys on the team, they have 211 colleges between the one teams, the two teams.
I hadn't even thought about that, but now that you mention it, that stat feels kind of meaningless, doesn't it?
Yes,
Or
it does. Now it really does. It truly does.
I do wonder if in the future, when they start calculating stuff like that, whether they're going to take into account, did you spend more than 1 year with the program? So like, let's like Rocco Becht goes on to the NFL and has a great career and he plays in the Super Bowl. We going to claim him?
I think they do.
Yeah.
Absolutely they do. And that's crazy because it is what it is. So this is the dilemma I have. Not I have, but, as a Penn State football letterman, we have a Penn State football letterman's club.
Yeah.
There's a guy like Anthony Beck, or not Anthony, Becht is going to get a letter next year.
Sure.
1 year at Penn State. Reverse that. If he was a quarterback as a freshman and lettered, just say he did letter, is he a football letterman if he leaves after 1 year?
Yeah, that's the question. So it's interesting. We're going down this rabbit hole, which you and I like to do when we're on the air together. But it's a really good point. So let's take a kid like Mitchell Tinsley, okay? Plays a few years at Western Kentucky, comes up, has a really nice season. His last year of college football with Penn State, and it's off the strength of that year that he gets his shot in the league, and now he's hung on, and he's got a roster spot with the Bengals. So, like a couple years out, Joe Burrow stays healthy. They get things figured out there. They go back to the Super Bowl. I'm okay claiming Mitch Tinsley as a Penn State alum in the Super Bowl. Now, let me just throw out a name. The first one that comes to mind is London Montgomery. Okay. So I was going to say, I guarantee Goon doesn't even remember him. London Montgomery was pretty highly touted running back recruit, played sparingly as a freshman with Penn State, and then went and hopped in the transfer portal. So he's had a relatively productive career. I'm looking up as I go here because these guys move around, but he had to kind of drop down a level. He played, I think, 2 seasons with East Carolina. Pretty productive. And now, back in the transfer portal and looks like he may be able to, he's going to transfer to Florida for his senior year. Okay. So London Montgomery, if you're a tailback at Florida, you're at least a pro prospect, right? You play 1 year at Penn State, you get the bulk of your productivity in college is at East Carolina. And then you have a Mitchell Tinsley year with the Gators. That guy plays in a Super Bowl one day. Are we claiming him? I don't know. I don't feel great about doing that. If that's what you need to keep the streak going, you are holding on by less than a thread at that point.
Booch, remember a couple of years ago they released the press release they had, and it said a Penn State football player has been in every Super Bowl, and then in the really tiny writing underneath,
except for 3. Yeah. That gets brought up every single year, and I've always wondered. Were they trying to pull one over on people, or was that like a joke? It was the whole point that every Super Bowl was supposed to be in big lettering, and then you were kind of supposed to read it as except for 3.
Except for 3.
Mr. Black.
I don't know, man.
But let's bring it back around to current day Penn State. Did you get a chance to listen to Matt Campbell's press conference from yesterday?
His press conference? No.
Okay.
But I did have a personal Zoom with him Tuesday night.
Okay, so even better. So how did that?
Had, he's talking to each decade of Letterman.
That's awesome.
So Tuesday night was the 90s guys and stuff like that. And I'm just going to tell you right now, dude, hung the phone up, hung the Zoom up. Phone just started blowing up. Oh, my God, dude, awesome winner. We got a great one. This guy is legit. Every freaking comment that any of my old teammates were just saying on our little group chat were like, dude, this guy's got it. He understands it. He knows it. He gets it. You know what I mean? He understands it's not about him. I mean, surprisingly, that's a distant thing for the Penn State family in the last 15 years, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, fair.
It's not about him. It is about the team the culture, the university, how they're perceived, all of this stuff, how like the Letterman, he's like, I go to a building every day. It says, Louis A&S. He goes, you guys built this building. This is your building. I owe it to you. I respect you guys and this and that. And that was, I don't need that. You don't, there's people who do need that kind of a gratification or whatnot. But the fact that he even says it and that he means it.
I was going to say the fact that he means it probably means more than he says it, right?
I mean, I'm not afraid to. I mean, James could win a press conference, man, and he could win a group of people over with his speeches and all. But the more you were around it, you just knew that was an empty comment. Where I think with Coach Campbell, it's going to be, that's what he thinks, it's what he is, it's what's going to happen, and it's how it is, and it's how it's going to stay. Again, he goes back to his family roots, his grandparents, and when he talks about the pride and the parents, the grandparents are puffing their chests out, talking about Penn State and Joe Paterno and the Penn State brand and stuff like that. I mean, dude, that was speaking to me in my heart. I mean, that's when I heard that in his opening press conference, and he was reiterating it this past week on the Tuesday night Zoom call. Just unbelievable. Absolutely amazing. There wasn't one person on there he didn't win over.
Yeah.
There was the one person who was cynical saying, we'll see what's going to happen and this and that. I truly believe in what he was saying was what he felt and the way he feels and the way he is going to handle stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So excited, so rejuvenized and stuff like that with the football program. And I can't tell you how many people I heard that from. The rejuvenation is what they said, is the word I'm going to look at. Over the weekend, I kept on hearing, I was at the hockey thing. I keep on moving. I'm sorry, Booch. Sorry.
You're okay. You're good.
I just can't believe how many people over the weekend were saying how rejuvenized they were about the whole Penn State football thing and how much they can't wait to start coming back here again and how it's going to start meaning stuff again and it's going to mean so much to people. And they want it to mean something to them where the last few years they didn't feel as it meant anything to them. They didn't feel as if they were part of it at all. And everybody's bad. This isn't just Letterman now I'm talking about. This is just people in general over the weekend that I had talked to and was with at the wrestling, at the hockey, basketball games. They were up here for the whole winter weekend. Just we're in a good place right now. And
so one of the things I thought was interesting when he came out and he talked to the crowd before the Nebraska match on Friday night was that he was just dressed in like regular civilian clothing. I mean, I don't really care about this one way or the other. It was just noticeable that he was not branded out from head to toe. And his style of presentation is it's pretty low key. It's understated, right? But it does seem to be genuine. Like what stuck out to me watching his press conference yesterday, this is his first time to meet the media since he was introduced, is that he talked for probably a good 45 minutes or so, which is, I know that was kind of the norm for James, but my understanding talking to people who cover college coaches from all over the country is a little bit unusual. They don't usually give you that much time. And every question, you could tell he kind of thought about it a little bit, and he gave a thoughtful answer. So you did feel like you were getting some substance from him. So I like that. Again, at the end of the day, it's going to be about what the production looks like on the field. And if we're winning, people are going to be happy. And if we're not, they won't. But right now, to the extent that he can win people over, he seems to be doing that. Nevertheless, in comes the NFL poaching one of his assistants already. And what has just been, like I said, the absolute cursed position. So you were feeling pretty good about Noah Pauley and his track record and his ability to turn the production at that position around. And now he's not been on the job for 2 full months, and he's already got to replace somebody off of his staff. So, suboptimal from a stability standpoint. You like the fact that there's no spring portal window to worry about. So at least, you maybe from a recruiting standpoint, there's some disruption. But the guys who are on the roster, they're here. They're stuck here. through to the end of the year. So they're going to be coached up by the new guy. I don't. What does a positional coach search even look like in the middle of February?
Well, I mean, there is a recruiting lull right now. And I wonder if that is this weekend the coaches convention? Do you know? The American Football Coaches Convention, the AFCA. They usually had that in like wild card weekend area time, but it was always like, well, all these teams were still playing, so you're going to be missing like 10 teams then. Or 8 teams or something like that. So, you know what I mean? I wonder if they moved
it already happened in January.
They still kept it in January, even though they're having games.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I never understood that. You got like you'll have 4 to 8 teams that the coaches can't be there.
And the ones you'd want to hear from, right? Like if you're going to the AFCA coach,
no doubt.
You're going to hear from Kurt Cignetti this year. Yeah.
No doubt.
Nuts.
And Kurt Cignetti's going to sit there and say, guys, I was in your spot 10 years ago. Literally in your spot 10 years ago. And here I am. Here, kiss the ring, baby. Kiss it.
Yeah, that's lousy. But here we are, right? So you're going to have to your point, at least not have to worry about losing time on the recruiting trail. But no sooner does everything get settled, and you understand this is actually, from what I understand, kind of a domino effect result of the Sean Mannion hiring by Philadelphia leads to which, by the way, I am just very broken up about and quite upset. Jeff Stoutland.
Stop it.
Leaving Philadelphia. Then Philly goes out and hires a guy into the run game coordinator position. And then that opens up a job in Green Bay. And they go out and they poach Noah Pauley.
Yeah, I want to talk about Stoutland's going to hurt, buddy. You know that.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
You know as well as I do how much that's going to hurt.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the non-Eagles fans, Jeff Stoutland, long time
13
Philadelphia
years
Eagles offensive line coach, spanned four different coaching regimes. Or was he hired by Chip? At least three. Jeff Stoutland, not just probably the best offensive line coach in the NFL. I think maybe one of the best to ever do it. When you look at the number of guys he coached up to the level that they played at, All-Pro, Pro Bowl, there's going to be at least 2 Hall of Famers on his resume at minimum, in Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson. That guy is going to be remembered as one of the best O-line coaches. You know, you're going to hear his name mentioned alongside like Russ Grimm when it's all said and done. And he was in Philly forever and had, for the last few years, had the run game coordinator title along with offensive line coach. And I don't know who made the call. Ultimately, responsibility rests with the head coach. But he was stripped of those responsibilities, and it seemed like that was a bridge too far. And there you have, in your building, a guy who year in, year out was coaching one of the best offensive lines in the league. And I don't know why you don't bend over backwards to keep that guy happy no matter what. Crazy.
He made an Australian rules football player who never played the game into one of the top 10, not offensive linemen, top 10 players in the NFL.
Yep.
Voted on by the players. This man took a 7th-round draft pick who never had his hand in the ground, never played the sport before, never put pads on. There's stories about them having to dress him.
Yeah.
And he made him into the number 8 player in the league.
I was crossing my fingers. I thought Philly picking at 23 had a shot at getting Venga Ioane from Penn State in this draft, and just imagining what Jeff Stoutland could do with that guy to improve the interior of the Eagles offensive line. That was my dream heading into April.
I was my dream too until I saw the NFL report came out yesterday that he's the 11th ranked player in this draft.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at a lot of mock drafts, 23 looks like it's maybe going to be too low to get him. I
Yeah,
think he's the highest ranked interior offensive lineman.
it's good for him. Good for us.
He didn't give up a sack for 3 years.
I don't care. You know what I care about? What I saw?
Nasty.
What kind of human being he was when he jumped that pole up at Ohio State and pushed that thing up. Absolutely loved it, man. Loved it.
Yeah, he seems like a real one for sure. While we're on the topic of the O-line, Goon, I got to get your opinion on this as a former offensive lineman and a former coach and somebody who has been rumored to enjoy an adult bev from time to time.
Yes.
The video came out.
Absolutely loved what I saw in the crowd.
Yeah. So for folks who don't know, so Roar Plus, which is like the official subscription service, multimedia service of the athletic department. So not exactly coming directly from Penn State Athletics, but like half a step removed, put out this video from the hockey game on Saturday of the offensive line coach, Taylor Mauser, offensive coordinators, Taylor Mauser, offensive line coaches, Ryan Clanton, both young guys, like early 30s, out in front of the student section, celebrating a goal, slamming a couple of beers and tossing the cans. Now, there are some old timers, Goon, who are not loving it. I respect that viewpoint. I disagree with it. I did a video with Lennon about it. I said, listen, this is fine and dandy. It's very much okay, in my opinion. You good with it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I know as soon as I saw it, I just know the old curmudgeon is going to come out and say, that's not classy. What is that? You're acting like you haven't been there before. He's like, you haven't done this before. Well, you know what? I haven't been outside in front of 75,000 people at a hockey game before either. So, hey, what if it was a necessity? What if that beer kept them warm and saved their lives?
I'll tell you what, the beer was warmer than the air temp on Saturday. That is for sure. So let me give you this perspective.
Did you go?
Of course, yeah.
Outside?
Yeah. I don't mind the cold, man. I had a blast. I thought that was incredible. I was inside Beaver Stadium. It was cold as hell. There were 75,000 people there, and they were playing varsity hockey. Man, there was nowhere else on earth I was going to be. It was phenomenal.
Did you
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed we didn't get the win.
Yeah.
But it was everything you hoped for except for the final score.
Did you tailgate?
Yeah, sure did.
I didn't.
Let me tell you, the game itself, A+ execution, A+ atmosphere. The logistics in the parking lot getting in, like C-. The logistics getting into the stadium, F. Like Bluto Blatarski, 0.0. Awful. Unbelievably embarrassing.
How much did the snow and the ice have to do with that?
Not at all. They just didn't open enough gates, and they didn't have enough aisles at the gates they had open. And I don't know. I mean, you do this 7 times a year. You've been doing it forever. I don't know how you don't have a better handle on it. But that was a disaster. That was a complete, a Travis Shamockery, as that commercial used to say. But you know what? Once you got in, it was fine. You didn't care. Okay, so let me say this about the dudes.
I was like 72 degrees in the suite. It was really, really cold in there, Booch.
Yeah.
I even wore pants.
There were a lot of people who would be really angry hearing that you were 72 degrees watching that game. I didn't bother me at all. My buddy's wife would have been furious if she found out there were people watching those games in the suites. I was good with it. Let me say this about the two coaches and the beers.
Yep.
What I loved about that was those two guys especially, because you can tell, and Clanton in particular, like that guy. Whenever you see pictures of him, he's got the camo on, like he's got the big bushy beard. This dude is absolutely somebody who was coaching offensive line in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
And so both of those guys are coming from Iowa State. And this is no shade on Iowa State's program or anything. I'm not trying to talk down, but there are very few places in the whole country that can match what Penn State's got. Like, you can count them on your fingers with fingers left over. And so for those guys, I want them to understand what this is they're walking into, not see it on TV, not have people tell them about it. I want them to be there and experience it. And Matt Campbell said this in his press conference on Monday afternoon. He said, I think it is really important that we get out to these other Penn State sporting events as a staff so that everybody can see this and experience it and understand what it is we have going on here. When you watch those guys, like clearly they understood they were on camera and were putting on a little bit of a show, but that was real. They were just in their off hours, blown away by how cool an event it was and that they got to be down on the field level with the student section behind them. And they just got into it. And if they're going to go out and they're going to sell Penn State to aspiring pro football players in high school and other colleges and try to get them to come here, I want them to believe in the product that they're selling. And there's no better way to do that than to get an experience like you got on Saturday. And again, these guys are from Iowa. They're not bothered by the cold. So I think that's it. That's important. You talk about like these, Campbell gets on a call with guys from the 90s and everybody walks away blown away by the fact that he's buying in and he's invested in Penn State. Well, the way you get the whole staff reading from the same hymnal, I think a big part of that is just let them get out and let them experience what it is to be inside Beaver Stadium with fans there. And that was really what, to me, was central to those guys being there on Saturday. Is it's one thing to go walk in the empty stadium. It's something else entirely to be down there on the field level. And there's, 75,000 people losing their minds.
Bill O'Brien and James Franklin staffs had no idea what Penn State football was until that first game when they walked out there. Bill O'Brien in 2011 or 2012, and then James in 14. And that is that they really didn't understand Penn State. They didn't understand the fans and stuff like that. And then they got in the game environment and they were like, holy crap, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Where Matt Campbell's staff experienced it. I mean, it wasn't 110,000 people, but it was 77,000 people. And they experienced it and they could have enjoyed it. You don't think those guys woke up on Sunday going, oh my God, we are in a special, special, special place.
Yeah, like the stadium's half taken apart on the one side. It's like 5 degrees out. And you still get 76,000 people in there. What's it going to be like when we got a whiteout in this place?
And the other thing about this staff here, and this goes back a long way. So remember Bob Stoops left Florida and went to take the Oklahoma job?
Sure.
I mean, we're talking 90s, 2000s, whatever, this and that.
Yeah, that would have been late 90s. Yeah.
The stories about that staff, Mangino was on that staff. There was his brother was on that staff. There's a couple other guys on that staff that went along.
Mike Leach obviously was on that staff.
Mike Leach went a long way and did a lot of things. So they said that their first 4 or 5 months in Oklahoma, they were all living in a hotel together. So they were out drinking beer every night and just talking football.
Right.
So these guys that are coming in from Iowa State, their wives and their kids, they're not here yet. They came here to work. I heard that 2 or 3 of them were living in an Airbnb together.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, the stories of the Oklahoma staff and the bonding and the coaching that they did in that time before their families arrived, where they could just live, sleep, and eat football. That's a great thing. That's an unbelievable thing. So those guys are sitting at their Sunday morning brunch together or whatever at the house, in the Airbnb, saying, oh my God, dude, we are in a special freaking place. There's no doubt that they were talking about that. Absolutely no doubt that they could have been involved in Saturday afternoon the way they were, and then not to say this place is not unbelievably special. We're very lucky to be here. And you can't tell me they didn't go to work Monday rejuvenated, ready to go to work and all fired up. I want to keep this job. I want to succeed here. I want 110,000 people here every weekend.
Now, let me ask you this. I just want to – this is like a little bit of an aside. Going back to the video of those guys popping the beers. You put yourself in the shoes of young recruit Goon. Now, I know the college football world looked entirely different back when you got recruited, but you can imagine what it would have been like. Is that a plus for you when you see a guy like that who's maybe going to be your position coach and you can see he's just a little bit of a real dude?
Yeah, and he's a younger dude. I mean, that's the thing. They're younger guys. I mean, our coaches were a little older back in the day. So, I mean, I would always appreciate a guy who was like, well, that's something I would do right there, you know?
Right.
And I would have no problem with what they were doing. I don't have a problem with what they were doing. I had some teammates of mine who were a little crusty saying, oh, I don't know. It's not the look you want to give for Penn State. Let's just win a national title, then we'll start giving looks out, okay? Let's get to that point where we have to worry about what we're looking like.
If you went to Penn State or if you played for Penn State, there was in all likelihood, there was a time during your college career where you spent some of your off hours drinking beer. It's okay to be honest about it. You know, I said, it's not like these guys are going to be drinking during team meetings or practices. They're at an outdoor hockey game at Beaver Stadium. Let them live a little. Now, here's the other side of the equation. I asked Tengwall this. I'm going to ask you. Now, you would have been down with it, which I totally understand as, 17, 18-year-old high school football player. How are Mr. and Mrs. Conlin reacting to seeing something like that? From
my dad would probably tell the coach, you drink beer, son, you don't chug it, don't waste it. You're not playing games here. Like, Dad, come on, we're playing cards. We're playing beer drinking games and this and that. And he would look at us and go, why don't you just drink your beer? You don't play games with it. You drink beer. Have some respect for the beer. So don't chug it. No reason to chug it. Sit back, enjoy it. Now, yeah, I mean, I can see where some guys and mommies and daddies would be a little bit upset. Like, I don't know about this, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. And if the parents are going to be that, I don't know, shovey or whatever, a little stuffy in this or whatever, maybe the kid's not the right guy for here then. Maybe we're looking for.
Thing too is that, when you take a staff as a whole, different coaches have got to play different roles in the lives of the players. And I think maybe even I'm pretty, what I live and let live about all this stuff. I'd maybe have a little bit of a different view of it if it was a head coach doing it. And if you look at kind of the way Campbell presents himself, you were just talking about it earlier, it's a contrast to the way those guys look. He's about 10 plus years older than both of those dudes. So this is maybe the youngest staff in the Big Ten. If it's not the youngest, it's real close. Maybe we'll hire an old wide receiver coach and push the average up. I don't know. But he's the old man of the staff, practically, the head coach. And that's okay. I kind of like the head coach to be sort of like the more fatherly CEO figure. And some of these younger guys, especially position coaches, it's, to me, I really don't worry as much about them being a little bit closer to the man of the people vibe with the players. You maybe need that dynamic, a little bit of good cop, bad cop.
I'm all right with it. I have no problem with it, but I could see where people are upset with it. And as soon as I saw it, that's the first thing I thought was, I don't know if that's a good look, because some people are going to complain about everything, but I mean, let's all just grow up here. This is what kids do. This is what coaches do. I mean, we're all not going to fake it and say your kid's not going to come here. You're not going to come to Penn State. You're not going to party. And that's fine. If you don't want to party, that's fine. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
But this is what happens when you put 77,000 people in an environment that's fueled by alcohol and everybody's having a good time. That happens. And this is what it is, baby.
Last thing I'm going to say about this.
Just win games.
And you could tell it's February. We spent so much time talking about this. But didn't we kind of see the results of what it looked like when the team was wound so tightly at the beginning of last season, and then how things changed when everything just loosened up a little bit?
Yeah. When people aren't sitting there saying, well, this, and nothing was on them, and they weren't being pressured to be this or be that. Why aren't you guys this good as last year? Once that went away and this team could relax, I mean, look what happened. Absolutely. Absolutely, it had happened.
All right, we're going to jump out to a break. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, proudly sponsored by State College's Quaker Steak and Lube. Just going to give a couple plugs for the lube, and Goon, you should join in on this because I know you love that place, and with good reason. I'll hit you with my three biggest selling points. 100% best wing sauce selection in Happy Valley. People, especially if you're Western Pennsylvania, you've known Quaker Steak and Lube a real long time. I'd never heard of it till I got to Penn State, but I've been a bunch of wing places, mom and pop, up to the national chains. Best selection of sauces and dry rubs I've found, Quaker Steak and Lube. Service is phenomenal. One of the few places, maybe the only place, if I'm being honest, all around Happy Valley that did not have one single dip in service quality post-COVID. And not for nothing. A lot of places where you can go and watch sports and have a beer and eat some wings around here, almost all of them, depending on where you get sat, you maybe got a bad view of whatever event you're trying to watch. Not at the Lube. There is not a bad view of a flat screen. It's just everywhere you look, you got a great angle to a big screen TV to watch.
And it's the coolest beer in town. That's my selling point.
All right, we're going to hit a break, and then on the other side, we got to talk a little Super Bowl.
Woo!
We'll be right back.
You look a bit nervous, hey?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again,
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox, State College.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Lion Country Goon and Ironhead show. Not live from Quaker Steak and Lube today. Jeff, the Ironhead Byers, traveling today, so I am filling in for him. Chris Buchanani of the obligatory PSU pregame show and podcast. Find the pregame show on the Tengwall Film Network on YouTube and the podcast wherever you get your fine podcasts.
Oh, Boots, I apologize.
No, you're all good. We just came back in out of the break. I said we were going to be talking some Super Bowl. Let's get right into it. Let me just open up with the question I'm genuinely curious about. You care about this game at all?
Nah.
That's the same thing I've heard from pretty much everybody. I mean, Patriots, Seahawks, like the most you manage to get out of some folks is they don't want to see New England win another Lombardi so close to the end of the Belichick-Brady era. But I don't even really get a whole lot of that, at least not from the conversations I've had. It's mostly just apathy. I've even heard some people say they're not planning to watch it, which I don't know is crazy. I watch the Super Bowl every year. But
that's a lie.
Yeah.
You know what I want to see and why I'm going to watch?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to see Sam Darnold do well, because there's a guy like that who has literally just been pooped on, slapped around, thrown around by the NFL because he wasn't a great quarterback, this and that, yada, 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 because he played for the freaking New York Jets. That's a guy who was paid his dues and deserves to win a Super Bowl ring. I truly think that, and I am rooting for Sam Darnold to win a Super Bowl because of that reason, because, you know, the guy can't help where he gets drafted. So he goes to the New York Jets, and they have proved how many times over and over and over again that they just cannot field a good football team, nor can they field a good quarterback, you know? So I do want to see him succeed. I am very, very impressed by the Drake May situation going on. Yeah. But I don't like the fact that it's just so close. I mean, I saw a comedian say that, I don't know which one it was, and he goes, you guys have not suffered enough to be back in the situation you are, because you were in the catbird seat for a dozen years, and all of a sudden, what, you had a 4 or 5 year hiatus, and now you're back in the Super Bowl? Oh, right. You paid your dues, you waited your time? Come on, dude. Get out of here. Move to Philadelphia.
So you're rooting for Seattle?
I am. I will be rooting for the Seattle. I mean, just for that reason. I mean, I feel as if New England has enough Super Bowls that they don't need any more of them.
Agreed.
You know, Seattle, I don't have a problem with. I like Darnold. I want to see him do well. Just because the Minnesota, they had him. I mean, how many teams has he been on? I mean, he was at Minnesota. He had a great season last year, but because they drafted J.J. McCarthy, who now they're talking they might want to get rid of.
Yeah,
Sam Darnold to get
he had that 1 year stint in Carolina.
Yeah, exactly.
It was him and Baker Mayfield together in between the Jets and the Vikings.
And
yeah,
there's another one. I want to see Baker Mayfield succeed because of he played for the Browns and they jettisoned him off.
Yeah,
like it was his fault. Like he did exactly what you wanted him to do. He took you to the playoffs. He beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in a playoff game. And then you just say, oh, he's not good enough, and you get rid of him a year later.
Yeah. It's so much of what dictates your success in the NFL is the quality of organization you end up with, the stability, and then, you know, the coaches in the system that they run. And I've seen so many guys who you thought had real pro potential sometimes ended up just like in no man's land. You know, those first couple years, like you're talking about with Darnold, most guys who get stuck in the situation he was in, where they get picked high because they're really talented in college, which means they landed with a garbage organization. They never escape from that. So kudos to him for building himself back up after, from the Jets to the Carolina Panthers. That's a
lot of losses,
guys. Yeah.
That is a lot of losses. Look at a guy like, he just left my head. David Carr, when he went to the Houston Texans and set the record for getting sacked as many times as he did. There's a guy who never got a true shot with a good football team. So we have no idea how good David Carr could have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You saw a glimpse of it with his little brother Derek going around there. I mean, he was okay, but they said that David was much better than him. Yeah. So it's like, could you imagine how many guys are like those guys who just go to the league, get the crap beat out of them, and then they get this label that they're a bust, and they get jettisoned out of the league. It's just amazing, and it's the same organizations doing it over again. The Jets. The New York Jets have the 2nd overall pick this year. And did you see who the kid at Oregon, Moore, the quarterback? What did he do? They projected him there. And he says, oh, no, I'm going to stay in the NFL. He turned down guaranteed $50 million.
Yeah, sorry, man. Joke's on you. The Jets are going to be picking there next year, too.
He's going to make 8 at Oregon.
Yeah.
And if he blows his knee and back and he can never play football again after this year, it's all the money he's going to make. But he pretty much turned down a guaranteed $50 million contract with the Jets because he does not want to play with them. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, if we're on this right now, I am not a Caleb Williams type of person, type of guy, but I got to give that guy a lot of credit, man. He might be, honest to God, already in his 2nd year, he might already be the best quarterback in Bears history. Now, Booch, give me a list of Bears quarterbacks. I got 2.
Okay, so first of all, you're not going to get me to put him above Jim McMahon just yet.
Which of his 3 years that he really had successful years in Chicago? He got a ring, no doubt about it.
And you go back, he had some really good seasons, and also
he's got that ring
in the mid '80s. You could pile drive a quarterback into the turf 3 seconds after he released the ball and not even get a flag. You know,
that was the dirtiest thing I have ever seen in my life.
If you would have done, I'm blanking on the guy from the Packers' name. If you would have done to a quarterback today what was done to Jim McMahon that put him out for the year in the '86 season, I'm pretty sure Roger Goodell would have you publicly executed. I mean, you can go on YouTube, look it up, crazy. But yeah,
let's not kid about it. He forecasted it too. He was wearing a towel with the players' numbers with X's through it that was going to hurt that day.
It was a different deal back then, man. It was a different league. But yeah, you got a short list when you're in Chicago. You're talking.
And there's only one other name, and that's the guy with the dead hookers in the trunk.
Maybe you know a story I don't.
Your boy Jimmy Harbs.
Oh. Well, you're forgetting about Sid Luckman.
Easily forgettable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not back in the day. Back in the days when they were.
Did I really get you with the dead hookers in the trunk comment?
NFL championship. Yes. Okay, fair. Allegedly.
Booch.
Yeah.
You need to get out more. You're in the home too long. If I got that over on you,
here's
your line. You're the one who uses it.
Well, here's the thing. So you got me thinking about Bears quarterbacks. I mean, probably Jay Cutler's up ahead of
Jim Miller,
Eric Kramer. You know, listen, we could name crappy Bears quarterbacks all
Doug
day.
Flutie.
I got to run through this with you before we get out of here. Have you seen this meme on the Patriots schedule?
No.
going around? Okay. So one of the knocks on New England and the way they got here, and I think it is a totally fair criticism, is that they might have had the easiest glide path to the Super Bowl of all time. And so this meme floats around. I'm just going to read it to you. So here, from week 1 to week 18, here's the teams they played.
Ugh.
Fired coach, NFC South, fired their coach, NFC South, 3 more fired coaches, another NFC South team, the Jets, the Bengals, 3 more teams that fired their head coach, the Jets again. And in week 18, yes, a team that fired its head coach. That was their path. I haven't gone back and looked at it. I think it might be the worst opponent winning percentage of any team to go to the Super Bowl. And then they get into the playoffs and they got to play the Chargers and Denver. Number 1, without their starting quarterback. Number 2, they took a 10-3 lead in that snowstorm where basically nobody else did anything for the whole second half of the AFC Championship.
And they wore white and they were hidden.
Yeah, they are just they are itching for a beating from the Seattle team, which to me looks really, really good.
Well, let's get used to that bad schedule because we're going to have to deal with those questions all next season.
Yeah, no question, but that's all right. I'll take it.
Did you see Ohio State, Michigan are dropping their games against Georgia?
No, are they?
Why would they? Why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
why would you do
sense, it? I don't think a lot of people are tuned into the fact that the Big Ten office, like the conference itself, is going to the schools and pressuring them to drop those games because they don't want to see teams playing tough non-conference schedules and hurting their chance to make.
Well, it cost Michigan a playoff spot.
What's that?
Playing Oklahoma
lost Michigan to playoff. Yes, absolutely, no doubt about it. That's you can't argue. You can't argue with that.
10-2 versus or 9-3. They would have been 10-2 with losses to Ohio State and Indiana. Right? Is that the 2 teams they lost to?
Yeah. Yep.
Or no. They lost to USC.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, not Indiana. Indiana didn't play them. They lost to USC.
So they lost to USC, a top 15 team, and Ohio State. They would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, they ended up tied with USC for 4th in the Big Ten. So yeah, with one more win, even over anybody really, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, that's a great point.
There's no point. I mean, unless the NCAA is going to say they need to come in and say we're going to go to 11-game schedule. You play 8 of your conference games, and we're going to, have the Power 5 conferences rotated around who we're playing. You're going to play a Power 5 conference team. One. And let that determine it. They could call it opening weekend, and they pull names out of a hat. Or they could. I'm saying they could make a whole little thing out of it.
So this is why the Big Ten wants to increase the number of playoff spots, which I'm glad they're not doing, by the way. Everybody thought they were going to end up at 16. They're sticking with 12, at least for another year, which I love. But what the Big Ten wants to do is they do want to play the SEC teams in that they want to package up all of those non-conference, cross-conference rivalries between the Big Ten and the SEC, and they want to sell that separately. And the SEC and the Big Ten could make a boatload of money doing that. But what they don't want is for that to affect the number of playoff teams that they get. So that's where we're just stuck at this impasse where the Big Ten and the SEC both want, you heard Greg Sankey going into the postseason this year. He said he thought the SEC had 7 teams that belonged in the playoffs. And practically all of them stunk when they actually got on the field. But this is the way these conferences think. They think just by existing, they deserve 4 or 5 playoff spots.
It means more.
And so they're not gonna play each other. There's no motivation built into the current system to incentivize the Big Ten and the SEC playing non-conference games against each other unless they expand the playoffs, because that means you won't get punished for a loss in September.
Right. They should have week 1 matchups and just have
You know how the NFC East plays the AFC West in head to head. You know, they should. Okay, you guys are going to play the Big Ten's playing the ACC this year, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's ways to do it. I mean, they can make some really good matchups over like a 4-week span. You don't have to play all of those games the first week. You have a 4-week window or 3-week window to get those games in. One game. You're still going to play your Marshall. You're still going to play your Buffalo and your Temple. You know, you're going to make your money for your school. That's fine. You know, but it's got to be every 2 years because if we pick up Tennessee, it's got to be a home and home. We can't be rotating around, you know. And there's ways to do it. Whatever, dude.
I'll say this, at least in contrast to the last time we scheduled a home and home with Syracuse, this year we caught them on the upswing, I think, or next year, the next 2 years. I think Syracuse is at least going to be a respectable opponent next season and in 2028. Like you go back to when we scheduled them in 08 and then they came here in 09, like that was considered like a joker game. So I'm glad that at least is going to be competitive. That's a respectable opponent. Hey, listen, let me swing it from college back to pros and talk about the NFC's quarterback and Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. I saw a really interesting theory earlier today about why so many young quarterbacks are struggling to make the jump from college to pro and why you're seeing more late bloomer Sam Darnold types. And, there's a bunch of different factors, and part of it is just where you land. But one of the other things was the way college offenses have gone almost exclusively to the shotgun, which you just see everywhere. And now the pendulum has decidedly swung back in the pros, where there's way more under center snaps being taken in modern pro offenses than even there were like 4 or 5 years ago. And so these college quarterbacks are learning to read defenses and execute offenses exclusively from the shotgun, and they're struggling to take a under center snap. Some of them never do it over the course of their whole college and sometimes even high school careers now. They never take a snap from under center. And one of the other points, the guy, I was watching a YouTube video, he was making the point that not only do they have to learn the snap and footwork for 3, 5, 7-step drop, but they're turning their back to the defense on play action, which is something you never do when you run play fake from the snap. I thought that was from the shotgun. I thought that was a pretty interesting perspective. I'd never really heard it put that succinctly before, but I thought about it. I was like, yeah, that tracks.
Well, you and I have talked about it for a long time now, and that is that the professional game is now being it's watered down quarterback wise because we're not creating quarterbacks anymore, NFL style quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And for the listeners out there, the whole story is that when Chris and I were growing up and any time before it, the best athlete in your team was your running back. You made him your running back, and you fed him the ball 918 times a game, and he ran the ball. Then about 20 years ago, the Derek Williams type of era said that came into play as like the thinking started to be, you know what, our best player should be our quarterback because he needs the ball in his hands at all times. And if he hands the ball off, that's fine. And if he throws the ball, that's fine. But if there's nothing, he has the ability to make plays, i.e. Michael Robinson type of quarterback who can go out there, Darryl Clark, who can take the ball, okay, check, nothing there, duck it down and run it, you know? That bled its way because they weren't producing those kids in high school anymore. That turned its way into the college ranks, and then it turned its way into the NFL ranks. That, you know, last year I made this analogy a couple weeks ago when I saw it happening, and that last year the 4 quarterbacks in the Final Four for the NFL were all run pass oriented guys, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes type of guys. Where the 4 this year were all classic drop back guys, not really known for their running ability. But more known for their throwing ability. So is the pendulum swinging back to that direction?
to the Josh Allens, to the Sam Darnolds, because I go back to, and I always say it, and I don't mind saying it, I have to eat a lot of crow about it, but I remember watching Colin Kaepernick play when they went to that Super Bowl, and I remember sitting there saying, this guy is officially changing the game.
Yeah.
Like this run-pass option stuff, it's unstoppable. It's unbelievable. If this is run right and he can throw the ball the way he can throw the ball with on the run and stuff like that, it's indefensible. And what it do? It took a year and a half for the NFL defensive coordinators to realize and figure out how to handle a guy like that, and they beat the crap out of him. So, and there it is. That's what we say. Everything about the NFL. You give them a couple of years, the defensive coordinators, they will learn how to eat a quarterback. That's what they do. It's what they do. They're not on the road recruiting high school and college kids. They are in the film room learning how to beat offenses.
I am enjoying that the pendulum is swinging back in a direction where I actually see like kind of a proto I formation out there from time to time. You know,
Jeff Stoutland's leaving.
Tight ends as fullbacks. I love it.
Was Stoutland leaving?
Yeah. Gross.
Hey,
right,
do you think that was the what the heck's his name from ESPN? Do you think that was when he was on YSP the other day?
Oh, Schefter, yes.
Adam Schefter said, I might have something else for you.
Yep.
Do you think that was it?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Because even at the time when he first said that, some people in the Philly media were speculating that it could be that.
I thought it was Fangio.
Vic Fangio retiring was the other one, but I did hear some people say, hey, maybe because the demotion had just come down, that he had lost the run game coordinator title. Jason
Kelsey, O-line coach.
I don't know.
That's his boy. That's his son, man.
I know it. I don't know if Kelsey wants to be a coach, but we'll see.
By the way, did you ever hear the story of Kelsey and his wife meeting Stoutland and his wife?
No.
Stoutland's wife pulled Kelsey's then first time that she had met him, pulled her aside and said, if you hurt him, I will come after you. Like a total mom would do, man. I love it. Absolutely love it, man.
We are living through an end of Eagles football, just disintegrating before our eyes. Makes me sad. All right, so I don't want to go out on a bad note. I want to go out on a fun note, Goon. I got prop bets for you. You want to answer a couple Super Bowl prop bets for me?
Tails.
Okay, that was the first one I was going to ask. I agree. Always tails never fails. National anthem. Over. Under 120.5 seconds.
Over.
All right, that's solid. I'll go with that. Which team gets to 10 first?
Seattle.
All right. Yep. Let me ask you, who you got in this one?
I got Seattle big.
Do you think they're going to win big?
I don't really know if New England, they might not put double digits on the board.
I think it is going to be similar to last year's Super Bowl. I agree. I think Seattle's dominant.
Well, who was last year? Woo!
Yeah. We're gonna have to hold on tightly to that one, the way things are going in Philly right now. Yes or no? Will a non-quarterback make a pass attempt?
Yes.
Yes or no? Will there be a flea flicker?
That is what will be. That's 2 for 1 right there.
Oh, how about that?
You're thinking flea flicker as in flicking back to the quarterback type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking more of a reverse type of thing.
Okay.
Hitting the Philly, you know?
I was going to say, if you got a flea flicker in which a non-quarterback was the one throwing the pass, that'd be a hell of a parlay. You could probably get some amazing odds on that. Okay, let's see. I'll just give you a few more here. Which quarterback will have more passing yards, Darnold or May?
Now, see, I don't think Seattle needs to really throw the ball around that much. So I'm going to go with May on that one because it might be like a throwing second half type of thing.
Okay. More receiving yards, Njigba or Diggs?
Njigba. He was on one of my fantasy teams this year, the one that I won. Yeah. I didn't realize how good he was.
Crazy.
He's unbelievable.
He's one of only 5, I want to say, maybe even 4. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. Receivers to lead the league in passing and then make the Super Bowl. Yeah, only 4. Drew Pearson did it in 1977. Jerry Rice did it twice. That's why I was thinking 5. In 89 and 94, he led the league in receiving and made the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp in 2021, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba this year.
With Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. How about that? Even though apparently the Rams tried to sabotage his reputation on the way out the door.
Right?
2-point conversion attempt in the game, yes or no?
Yeah, it's a weird world, man. I'm saying, like, people always complain. I mean, I'm a big block pool guy. I love block pools just for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I love getting in them 5, 10, 20, 100, 200, whatever. The 2-point play has and then the missed extra points.
Oh,
they have really changed the game, so there's really not a bad number. They say 5, 8, 2, 9. No, they're all attainable on missed extra points and 2-point plays, which they are more commonplace now than they have been in 40 years.
Sure. You see teams going for 2 on like their first or second score of the game.
Will there be an octopus?
Help me out.
If the player who scores the touchdown scores the extra 2-point conversion.
I would say no.
I'm going to say yes with Njigba getting one.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
Maybe.
So if all these bets come through, I'm a multi-millionaire. So just so we know.
So, last one I'll ask you then. Gatorade color.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow's the way to go.
Or green, whatever that fluorescent crap.
Yeah.
Who do you like, Booch? You have the same thing?
Yeah. That's the one to bet for sure. And I think Seattle's going to win it pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
They just, to me, have looked like through most of the second half of the season, the best team in the NFL. And again, you just look at that path New England took to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, look, all credit. You got to win your games. And Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. But holy crap, that AFC Championship game, the luck they had for the 1-2 punch of Bo Nix getting hurt. And then that snowstorm, it was like the fog bowl, basically. Yeah. It was just like nothing else was going to happen after that storm rolled in. And they wanted to end this. It's unbelievable.
Why are you going to end a show like that now? I got to go the whole weekend now with that in my head?
Sorry.
Dude.
It's just Stoutland news, man. It's got me down. I'm down bad.
Dude, the fog bowl? You really bought the fog bowl in.
Sorry.
How do they play that game?
Do you think for folks who don't know what the fog bowl is,
how do they play that game? How do you not delay that?
It's in Chicago. Fog rolls in off the lake, and it's just like essentially zero visibility. I was talking about this with somebody at the cheese shop this week, Goon. Do you think they play that game in the modern media environment? I think they delay it.
Well, I mean, I have an honest question for you too.
Yeah.
And this is I haven't talked to you in a long time. Last week's snowstorm on Sunday during the AFC NFC title game. Do you know how lucky the NFL was that the 2 games that they had were in the Pacific Northwest and in the mountains?
Yeah.
There was 22 teams affected by that storm. Now, you knew that was coming. I think that if it was in New England, I think they probably would have played the game Saturday.
Oh, you don't think they would have moved it to like Detroit or like a?
See, I thought about that too, but I don't know. What's more important, the time off or having the home game? I mean, what I'm saying is if you move that Bengals or that Patriots game up to Saturday, you move it up another day. You only have 6 days to prepare for that game. Is that a hindrance, or would you rather play it Sunday in? But I mean, Detroit was getting whacked with snow at that point too.
Yeah, well, not to mention like your broadcast partners, they've got other obligations of what might need to air on Saturday, the logistics of the city to do that a day early.
The fans, the police, the parking.
It's crazy to think that that's never really happened. That there's
the Eagles could not have played that game on Sunday. They could not have done it if the Eagles.
No way.
And if they said move it to Monday, I said they couldn't do it then either because all that ice froze.
Yep.
They would not have it. They would have to play that game in an empty stadium, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Imagine that. That's how lucky the NFL got.
It's better to be lucky than be good.
They ain't good. Bad Bunny.
I still don't even know who that is.
I know who it is because my wife and her friends like him and this and that, but I'm like, the hell's the point?
Can you explain to me what that is? It's a person? Bad Bunny is a person?
He'll probably come out in a dress.
Okay.
It's just think about a Latino Madonna, the shock jock. She just wants to shock. And whatever. He's got music and good beats and all that stuff, so it is what it is. I don't care, but if people are more worried about the whole halftime show than anything else, it seems to be a little too much, a little too crazy for me. But, another thing, by the way, Booch, I want to get a quick opinion on this.
Shoot.
Now, the NFL in their reverend, sitting on that high stool that they sit on and judge and tell you how to act and how to end racism and how to live together and how to do this and how to use the Rooney Rule because they are so inclusive and this and that. They tell you to end racism on their helmets, their end zones, and they have their weekly games about the DEI stuff. 11 of the 12 new coaches in this NFL are white.
Yes, I saw that news story.
Is there anybody complaining? When the NFL and they have to tell you how to live your life. Don't do as I say. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. So F the NFL. F them. Just the typical, it's just lip service. So they don't believe in what they preach.
There is no doubt that any statement that comes out of the NFL about any cause, about anything, is because they have market tested its ability to make them money. You just need to keep that in mind.
Everything about it is fake. The CTE stuff, they're worried about the players' heads and this and that. They're worried about one thing and one thing only. You know what? That's been the same thing forever and ever and ever and ever.
And you know what? That's fine. As long as everybody knows that, it's good to have a healthy relationship with the truth. And the truth
don't sit there and act like that. Don't.
Yeah, the NFL is the most efficient, relentless, merciless money-making machine in polite society. Okay, non-criminal enterprises, nobody does it like the NFL.
And you forgot hypocrite.
Well, it's assumed, right?
Hey, they tell you to pay you pay your taxes on time. That's what the NFL tells you to do, but they don't pay any. So, yep.
And they get the taxpayers to pay for their new stadiums when they build them.
Exactly. Booch, I appreciate you filling in, man. I really do.
Goon, enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend.
And by the way, this is my first time in 10 years I'm not away.
I was thinking I normally do these prop bets with Mike the Mailman.
Correct. And Mike the Mailman says Penn State.
Yes, definitely. The Penn State by 2 touchdowns.
Mike, what do you think the over/under on the national anthem is going to be? Well, Mike, Penn State. All right, Booch. Thank you, brother.
Right. Take care. Goon. So long, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. The guys will be back at Quaker Steak and Lube on Tuesday next week. Until then,
woo.
Go Birds.
Woo. Woo.
You look a bit nervous, hey?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX,
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox, Steve